In the world of mysticism, Baba Vanga remains one of the most talked about names. Born in 1911 in Bulgaria, she lived a life that was far from ordinary. Her story began in a small village, surrounded by simplicity and hardship. But her destiny was anything but simple. At the age of 12, Baba Vanga experienced a life-changing event. While playing in the fields near her home, a freak tornado swept her off the ground, throwing her far away. When she was found hours later, her eyes were filled with sand and dust. This tragic accident left her permanently blind. But this tragedy became the beginning of an extraordinary gift. Shortly after losing her sight, Baba Vanga claimed to have visions of events that had not yet happened. People at first dismissed her claims, but over time, her predictions began to shock the world with their uncanny accuracy. Baba Vanga's fame grew as some of her most notable predictions seemingly came true. The 9/11 attacks, which she described as two steel birds crashing into towers. The Chernobyl nuclear disaster, which she referred to as a great catastrophe in the North. And even Brexit, as she foretold the breaking apart of Europe. These prophecies earned her the nickname, the Nostradamus of the Balkans. Despite living in a modest home in Bulgaria, Baba Vanga was sought out by world leaders, politicians, and ordinary people alike. They believed in her gift to see the future, a gift she described not as her own power but as messages given to her by higher forces. Though Baba Vanga passed away in 1996, her legacy lives on. Her predictions continue to intrigue, inspire, and even terrify us. Whether you believe in her visions or not, her life remains a testament to the unexplained wonders of the human spirit. Sometimes extraordinary gifts are born out of tragedy. This was the case for Baba Vanga, a young girl from a small village in Bulgaria. Her life changed forever when she was just 12 years old. It was an ordinary day, and Baba Vanga, like any other child, was playing outside in the open fields. But suddenly, dark clouds gathered, and a powerful tornado swept through the area. The winds were violent, the skies roared, and in the chaos, the young girl was lifted off the ground and carried hundreds of meters away. Hours later, villagers found her unconscious, buried in dust and debris. Though she survived the ordeal, something was tragically different. Baba Vanga's eyes were filled with sand, and she was unable to see. Her sight was gone forever. For most, blindness would have marked the end of a normal life. But for Baba Vanga, this was just the beginning of an extraordinary journey. Despite the darkness that surrounded her, she began to see in ways that no one else could. Not long after losing her sight, Baba Vanga began experiencing vivid visions. She described seeing flashes of events, places, and people she had never encountered. These were not ordinary dreams or imagination. To her, they felt real, as if she was living them in another dimension. At first, the people around her were skeptical. How could a blind girl possibly know things about the world beyond her small village? But over time, her predictions became impossible to ignore. Baba Vanga spoke of events that would later come, true with unsettling accuracy. One day, she warned a neighbor about an accident that would happen to their livestock, and it did. On another occasion, she predicted a severe storm that destroyed nearby crops. Word of her unusual gift began to spread, and people started visiting her not out of pity, but for answers. Baba Vanga herself never claimed her abilities were hers alone. She believed that she was a messenger, receiving visions from a higher power. She once said, "I do not see with my eyes. I see with my soul. The visions are not mine. They are given to me." Her blindness became a bridge to a different kind of sight, one that allowed her to peer into the future in ways that no one could explain. From the ashes of her tragedy, Baba Vanga's gift emerged, a gift that would later change the lives of countless people. The storm that took away her physical sight gave her something far greater, a vision of the world beyond the present. Baba Vanga's story reminds us that even in the darkest moments, there can be light if only we choose to see it. The year is 2025, and one of Baba Vanga's most chilling prophecies looms over Europe. She predicted that this year would mark the beginning of an unprecedented conflict, one that would divide nations and plunge the continent into chaos. Baba Vanga, the blind mystic from Bulgaria, often spoke cryptically about the future, but when it came to 2025, her warnings were disturbingly clear. She foresaw a time when Europe, the cradle of modern civilization, would face its darkest hour. According to her prophecy, Europe would experience a deep divide among its nations. Political alliances would crumble, and trust between countries would erode. These fractures would set the stage for a devastating conflict that Baba Vanga described as a war unlike any other. This war, as she envisioned, would not just be fought on battlefields. It would extend to cyberspace, economies, and even nature itself. Baba Vanga hinted at the misuse of advanced technologies, including artificial intelligence, which could escalate the destruction. The consequences of this conflict, according to her prophecy, would be catastrophic. Millions would be displaced as refugees. Cities that once thrived with culture and history would lie in ruins. The very fabric of European society would be torn apart, leaving behind a wasteland of despair, as she described. While Europe has experienced its share of wars and turmoil in the past, Baba Vanga believed that this conflict would be different. It would not be limited to any one nation or group, but would engulf the entire continent, leaving no one untouched. Adding to the chaos, she foresaw that environmental disasters would worsen the crisis. Rising sea levels, extreme weather, and resource shortages would amplify tensions between nations, further fueling the conflict. Despite the dire nature of her prophecy, Baba Vanga's message was not just about despair. She often said that these visions were warnings, urging humanity to reflect and change course before it's too late. As we approach 2025, the question remains, will we heed her warnings and work towards peace? Or will we let division and conflict shape our future? The choice is ours to make. When Baba Vanga spoke about the future, her visions extended far beyond war and human conflict. She believed that humanity would face a dual crisis in the years ahead, with climate change acting as a powerful catalyst for devastation. Baba Vanga warned that the earth itself would rebel against the actions of mankind. She envisioned a time when the environment, weakened by centuries of neglect and abuse, would reach a tipping point, unleashing a cascade of disasters that would reshape the world. In her prophecy, Baba Vanga described the effects of climate change as a relentless force that would exacerbate human struggles. Rising sea levels would swallow coastal cities, turning millions into climate refugees. Extreme weather events, from hurricanes to droughts, would disrupt agriculture, leading to widespread food shortages. She foresaw that the growing scarcity of resources, like water and fertile land, would ignite conflicts between nations, deepening existing divides. In her words, the earth will no longer provide what it once did, and humanity will fight over what little remains. But Baba Vanga's prophecy did not just blame nature. It also pointed to mankind's own advancements. She warned that unchecked technological progress and industrial greed would accelerate environmental destruction. The very tools designed to improve life could, in turn, become our greatest downfall. The consequences she described were not just physical but deeply societal. Communities would fragment under the weight of environmental crises. Social inequality would widen, as the vulnerable were left to fend for themselves, while the wealthy sought refuge in fortified safe zones. Baba Vanga also predicted that certain regions of the world would become uninhabitable due to extreme heat or rising seas, forcing massive migrations. She warned of the global strain this would create, with nations unable to cope with the influx of displaced people. Her vision of the future was bleak, but not without purpose. Baba Vanga often emphasized that her prophecies were meant as warnings, not certainties. She believed that humanity had the power to alter its course, if only it listened. While Baba Vanga's prophecy paints a dire picture, it also serves as a call to action. The choices we make today, how we treat our planet, how we support one another, will determine whether her vision becomes reality. The future is not yet written, but it depends on us to ensure it is one of hope and resilience. Baba Vanga's prophecies have fascinated and perplexed people around the world. While her predictions have never been scientifically proven, they remain a powerful reminder for us to reflect on how we live and how we treat the world around us. Baba Vanga lived a simple life, yet her words carried profound weight. From natural disasters to human conflicts, she claimed to foresee events that would change the course of history. Many dismissed her visions as mere coincidence, while others saw them as warnings too precise to ignore. Whether or not we believe in her prophecies, they often reflect truths about the challenges humanity faces. For example, her warnings about climate change and social divisions echo concerns that scientists and leaders have raised for decades. Her words, though mystical, serve as a mirror to our reality. Baba Vanga often spoke of humanity's power to choose its path. She believed that her visions were not set in stone, but were meant to encourage reflection and action. In this way, her prophecies remind us to act with care and responsibility to prevent the catastrophes she described. Her predictions about war and division may not have been specific, but they highlight the importance of unity and understanding in an increasingly interconnected world. They call on us to build bridges instead of walls, to find common ground in times of disagreement. Her warnings about the environment remind us that we are stewards of this planet. The actions we take or fail to take today will determine the legacy we leave for future generations. As Baba Vanga might have said, the earth speaks, but are we listening? Doubt her prophecies if you must, but do not ignore the wisdom they carry. Baba Vanga's legacy lies not in the accuracy of her predictions, but in the lessons they teach us: to live thoughtfully, to act responsibly, and to care for one another and the world we share. The future may be unknown, and while we cannot change what lies ahead, we have the power to prepare for it. This preparation starts not with fear, but with faith. Faith in ourselves, in humanity, and in our ability to overcome challenges. Throughout history, humanity has faced countless trials, wars, disasters, and crises, yet we have always found ways to persevere. The key lies in our ability to unite, to stand together in moments of difficulty, and to find hope even in the darkest times. Hope is not just a feeling, it's an action. It's the belief that even when the path is uncertain, we can still build a better tomorrow. By nurturing hope, we inspire ourselves and others to take the steps needed to create a more peaceful and harmonious world. We may not control the future, but we shape it with the choices we make today. Let us choose faith over fear, unity over division, and hope over despair. Together, we can prepare for the unknown, holding on to the belief that a peaceful world is not just a dream. It is a possibility we can achieve.